The latest press release for both Alien, Rogue Incursion and Behemoth are here with brand new footage and trailers, and both of them look very, very good. We'll tackle them one by one, but overall I'm feeling very positive about these two games, and with Metro just about a week and a bit away, and Hitman at the start of December, it's looking to be an amazing end to the year for VR and PSVR2. Before we jump in though, only 25% of you are subscribed, so if you feel like subscribing for everything PSVR2 related and occasional other VR platforms, please feel free to do so. With that being said, let's take a look at what was revealed in the latest trailers. Starting with Alien Rogue Incursion, this game, I'm gonna be honest, I've been a little bit worried about, mostly because I've played a lot of Alien games, or a couple of Alien games I should say, where there are similar premises to this one. You go into a derelict ship and you fight multiple xenomorphs, and my main takeaway from those, like Fireteam Elite comes to mind, is that while those games were fun, I never really felt like I was in that classic Alien scary situation. It felt like a bit of a mindless shooter, and that was what I was afraid Servios's Alien Rogue Incursion would fall under, because it does have you taking down hordes of xenomorphs as you go through these ship environments. And the IGN hands-on session that they've had both confirms my fears slightly, but also gives me some hope that the game is a bit more nuanced than that. What you're seeing on screen right now is IGN's press release for the game, and they essentially described an experience that's similar to Alien Isolation while incorporating elements from Fireteam Elite. Now, this game was developed alongside Alien Romulus, which is a pretty good movie, I would say. I did enjoy it, but it's its own property, it's its own thing. You're playing as not a new character. I think the character's been established in some comics, but a character that hasn't been seen on screen before in a game. And you're essentially trying to find your friend as you're going throughout this ship, fighting off xenomorphs, with the assistance of a synth, it looks like, in the gameplay. There are a couple main points I want to land on here, some good, some bad. Let's go with the good. For one, all the sounds seem incredibly accurate. Obviously, you're hearing my silly voice now, so you can't hear it. But things like the pulse rifle and the xenomorph sounds are very, very accurate to how they are represented in the films, which is great. I was a little worried as I heard a lot of people talking about no manual reloads, but throughout this play session, it looks like there are manual reloads, at least the option for them, because I feel like they reload the pulse rifle manually on screen a couple times. The inclusion of the motion tracker as well, I think, is a great one. It's going to add a load of tension to the game as you're trying to figure out where the xenomorphs are. Visually, I think it looks pretty stunning. If I remember right, it's made in UE5, and the frame rate here as well, I was a bit worried about in the last trailer they put out, but it seems pretty damn smooth. They didn't say what platform they played this on. A lot of the times it is PSVR2 they do for these kind of press releases, but IGN I don't think said. And probably the biggest massive relief for me was that this game actually is a bit more reserved than I thought it was going to be. I was worried it was going to be a roguelite, or you were going to jump into several missions and just blast away at xenomorphs mindlessly without having much other action to do, a bit like Alien Fireteam Elite. And while I enjoyed Fireteam Elite for the time that I played it, it kind of got old quickly, and it's not what I would want for a VR Alien game. I would want some scares on top of the action, and it seems like they're taking this approach to Rogue Incursion, because as you can see in a lot of the gameplay, there is a fair bit of suspense as you're traipsing through the hallways, trying to figure out if there's any danger around you, seeing the occasional xenomorph skitter above the ceilings, before you actually engage in any combat at all. For me, at least, as an Alien fan who prefers the horror side of things over the action, I think this is the correct approach. And it's also a massive relief that they've said it's a linear story. The IGN previewer said there were 8 missions, I think. They slipped up on their words a bit and said it took them 30 minutes to play through the second of the 8 minutes, which doesn't make any sense, but I'm assuming they meant the second of the 8 missions. So if there are 8 missions, maybe 30 minutes each, we're looking at maybe 4 hours of playtime here, but I don't want to say that's completely accurate because maybe they meant something else with what they were saying. That's just how I interpreted it. But it's good to hear that these are actual missions and it's taking you through a linear story. The only negative from this entire press release for me is the xenomorphs themselves, I think. They're a bit more on the Fireteam Elite side of things in that they're still fairly smart that they can flank you, but they also just kind of run at you. They're more aggressive, and I guess that's what you get when you're going for the more Aliens style of xenomorph rather than Alien, the first film, because naturally they're going to be more of them, they're going to be more aggressive, but I would have just loved a bit more of a cunning AI like Isolation, but of course that took a lot of resources to develop, so not as advanced as the Isolation Alien, but something a little bit smarter than what I'm seeing here. However, obviously I haven't got my hands on the game. I don't know how this plays, how this feels, so maybe in the headset you can notice them doing some smarter things, but from what I saw at least in this press release, They seem to be a little more mindless than the previous Alien game that we've had in the past that's kind of the gold standard, which of course is Isolation. However, I don't want to write off all the work they put into the Alien AI for this game, because again, I haven't got my hands on it just yet. Overall, I'm very happy with what I'm seeing here. It's a step in the right direction, I think, in terms of showing off the game and putting some more confidence in people like me who want to play it. I'm just hoping the game is immersive and doesn't dumb down VR mechanics because it's trying to appeal to a flat screen audience. Because again, it's a big IP, so they want to make it accessible to as many people as possible, of course. What do you think though? Let me know in the comments below, and let's take a look at the Behemoth trailer. This is the last time that I'm going to actually cover any Behemoth trailers or anything they put out, because we're not too far away from launch now, and I honestly want to go in as blind as possible. I was debating not even including this here, but it is quite an important one because it shows off some things that might tip some people over the edge into being either interested in buying the game or just interested in checking it out at all. But to be honest, I've watched the first trailer, I've played that 30 minutes to an hour long demo that I did earlier this year, and I've watched this trailer, and that's it, because I just want to go in as blind as possible aside from that. The main takeaway here for a lot of people though is the variety. That's what they're showing off in this trailer. It's showing off the world, the amount of enemies you're going to be fighting, not just humanoid enemies, but more hideous looking creatures that are smaller than the big behemoths, and I think that's a very smart play from Skydance. The biggest criticism I've seen people lobby at this game is that there isn't enough variety in the areas you're fighting in and the enemies, and this trailer pretty much puts all those complaints to bed, and I think it does it very well. The team over at Skydance are really putting everything into this game, and I think with its 12-ish hour long runtime, if I remember correctly, it is going to deliver the best campaign of the year in VR. It has of course had a delay though. Hopefully that means it's going to be polished at launch. I know Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 had some bugs on PSVR2. Hell, there's even a couple bugs that are still prevalent in the game to this day. And at launch it was much worse. For example, a couple of missions didn't even start because the trigger on my end was broken when I played it in one of the missions. So none of the enemies spawned. Hopefully we don't run into any issues like that, but this game has been cooking for a while, so hopefully it's polished. Anyway, which of these two games are you more excited for? Is it Alien or is it Behemoth? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to our patrons and YouTube members. Luke Bentley, Phil Irving, Hazit Mirza, Ace Gamer, Hippie Pickle, Jin007, A License to Chill, Sun WTF, Fat Controllers, The Game Cat Andrew, Aaron Wright, Jason Parker, Lamar Hall, Jordy Bansmer, Lemon64K, Outcast VR, Prophecy777, Gundy, Salvador, David Gephardt, Lauren Thole, Spencer Drake, and Macho X3, the Real Estate Procrastinator Game Cat. Thank you all for watching once again, and I'll see you all in the next one.